Okay, this is going to be part two. Well, this is the same program you saw me using last time, Visual Studio. I'm also in the same project. If you notice, it says Discrete Math Recursion. I've heard that you guys want to see things a little bit bigger, so I'm going to make things a little larger. If you saw the sort of pop-up thing show up. Here, I'll show it to you for real this time. That is a plugin that you can get. I don't really use it that much, but I don't know, maybe you lose track of what your shortcuts are. I just never use them. But, you know, occasionally you might want to keep a shortcut key in there. So, last time we talked about variable names. This is actually a particle swarm optimized traveling salesman problem program, which is not something I'm actually going to give a tutorial on. If you're interested in that kind of thing, let me know and I'll talk to you privately, because it's not really that interesting. Well, I say that, okay, particle swarm optimization is really interesting. It's also really cool. Traveling salesman problem in itself is really cool, but they're not really used for making games and therefore are out of scope. With this sort of tutorial series I'm doing a game tutorial series, not a how to be a simulation programmer tutorial series. Not that being a simulation tutorial is bad, but anyway. Last time we did basically writing and reading from the console window along with variable declarations. And I promised we'd do something cooler. So, we are. Let's start with logic. We had the Boolean operator last time, so bool, I don't know, dreams equals false. Let's do, you know what, I can actually work with this, so we're going to do this. Here's some quick stuff, just so that you guys can tell what I'm sort of thinking real quick. Dream. If I misspell anything ever, don't bug me about it, because my spelling is terrible. I misspell things all the time. My computer usually tells me about it, even though it's in C++. That's another plugin, but really not that important. I'm hoping this works. I know 0 is false and 1 is true for Boolean. I'm kind of hoping that it translates over, pretty much. Okay. So now we're gonna do logic, which is an if statement. If dreams, which basically means if dreams is true, do this, whatever's in the curly cues. I don't know, call them whatever you want. I just call them curly braces, curly cues, whatever. They're not important. Well, they are very important, but not that important for this particular element. You don't even need them for this, but I'm kind of OCD about how my code looks, so I use them. On a sort of side note, the physics engine that you guys saw, yeah, it turned out pretty sweet. I'm redoing some parts before I upload the sort of final version of it. Or at least the final version with a demo that I built. In about a week or so, it will be used. It'll be integrated into the Project Soul game, which has a website that I can't actually recall how to get to. I need to get one of my friends to email me the website that we're getting set up for that. But anyway, so if the computer's gonna dream, we can say, I don't know, we dreamed, I dreamed of bunnies. I don't know. I watch a lot of weird movies. Don't judge me. Just kidding. Okay. So, this should work, I think. I don't know. Oh, one thing to note. Up here, you'll notice that I don't actually have the open file stuff, or the labels up here. Another plugin. I can get them back with the Alt key. This is what yours will probably look like if you ever do anything like this. So, if yours doesn't look exactly like mine, it's because I have a bunch of plugins, like CodeMade, which sort of cleans up your code a little bit, kind of helps get rid of spaces and stuff. So, if you don't see that, that's why. But I was actually going up here to tell you about this. This is the sort of debug thing. Release mode will make your code run faster, but you can't debug. So, you saw me with, like, well, we'll talk about debugging eventually when I get to some stuff that you might need debugging for. This stuff's pretty basic. If you want to try to debug stuff, you can. Generally, I'm going to leave it in debug mode just in case shit breaks. Because if it's broken, I want to know why and I want to fix it. So, this is just what I'm gonna hit. There's shortcut keys for a bunch of this stuff, but I'm not a shortcut key person. My mother is. I'm not. That's a particle swarm optimization warning. I'm gonna fix it, maybe. Will the computer dream? I only. Let's see. Let's do 1 and then enter. I dreamed of bunnies. Yay! My computer dreams of bunnies. Alright, well, of course I dreamed of bunnies. We entered 1. Now, more logic stuff. Else. If else, it's pretty basic. Again, spelling is moderately important. You'll see code sort of highlights. That's kind of cool. If it doesn't highlight, it generally means you screwed something up. So you can click one of these curly cube braces, it'll highlight this one. You can click this and it'll highlight that. If I click like this one over here, it'll highlight this one. This curly cube brace over here corresponds to this one up here. So if stuff doesn't sort of look right, you can do that. Cout. This is gonna be kind of stupid, but I don't really care that much. So I had a nightmare where the world was ruled by humans. Again, spelling is important, and I can't spell worth crap. Also, I'm doing this at 2 a.m. You'd be able to see that if I didn't have this up here. So yeah, I'm doing this really early in the morning. It's just 2 a.m. on my PS3, so anyway, let's try this again, and you already saw what happened when I entered 1. I really need to fix that warning, which we'll fix in a second. So I'm going to hit 0 this time, and look, I had a nightmare where the world was ruled by humans. Congrats! Logic works. But that's not incredibly helpful, because, well, it's kind of one-sided. After it runs through once, it's done. That's great and helpful and all, but well, uh, so that was kind of nifty, right? Right. All right. So this is if statements. Now there's other stuff you can do. Let's try. Okay, well that was a boolean, so I'm gonna get rid of this. Or no. I'm not gonna get rid of it. I'm just gonna change the type. I'm gonna call it an int, and I'm gonna initialize it to 0. Now, obviously, an int won't really equate really well. It might work, but okay. So, what did we say here? I dreamed of bunnies, so 1 is yes. Okay, so an if statement will evaluate something to true or false. If you give it just a number or a pointer, which we'll talk about in a few videos, because those are kind of advanced, and I'd rather cover classes and structures before I talk about pointers. Because honestly, I don't see much use in talking about pointers until you have a grasp of classes and structs, because that's pretty much all you're going to use pointers for. At least that's all I use them for. So that'll be like part 4 or 3. Okay, this has gone on for 10 minutes. I'm going to make this one half an hour tops, hopefully. Depends on how distracted I get. No medicine. So, dreams is an integer. If it's 1, so equal 1. Important to note, double equals, so this little equal sign here, this is a logic operator that basically says, if this is equal to this, evaluate to true. It has nothing to do with this if statement. This if statement doesn't matter as far as this double equals sign. So I don't actually have to have this if statement here for this logic operator to work. Now, if I want the logic operator to do something, I need the if statement, obviously. But you don't need it, per se. But you kind of do if you want to do anything with it. But so, I guess an example of not needing the if statement would be, I don't know, Boolean, it has to be a bool, obviously, equals, dreams, equal 0. This will set it to probably true or false. It's not really important, but that's something you could do, not that you would. I mentioned that the double equals is a logic operator. 1 equals, if it'll highlight, it won't. Okay. That is an assignment operator. In pseudocode, usually written with an arrow. We're actually going to use arrows later, so don't confuse that. This is not pseudocode, this is real code, this is C++ code. Pseudocode is something you would type out in Excel. I don't know. I never really use it that much anymore. So that's that. That's something you could do, but again, it's not something you're going to do very often generally. So I'm just going to get rid of that. Well, let's see. Okay, so if dreams equals 1, do that. Now, obviously we have else and if. We also have an else if, which is done very simply. Else if dreams equal 0. Then it'll do that. And then lastly, else general case. Basically, it'll go through here and it says, okay, if this is true, then I do this, and then it gets out of this whole if-else thing. It'll just do the one thing and then it gets out. If this is not true, it goes here. And it'll say, okay, is this true? Great, I'll do this. If it's not, then it goes to the else. You can nest all these together. Only one if, as many else ifs as you want, and only one else per thing. If you wanted to do a different thing, you'd have to include a new if, else, and stuff like that. So see out. Oh God, humans, ick. And again, I can't spell worth crap. So, basically I'm going to make my computer sass me, sort of. Okay, that warning I got earlier, yeah, that was bugging the crap out of me. Where the hell is this thing? Okay. Double to end. You know what, that's really not important. It's totally out of scope. So I'm going to leave it there. It's not an important warning, so don't worry about it. I remember that warning, and I remember that it's not really a big deal, so don't worry about it. It's basically telling me that I've got extra digits that it's going to cut off because it's converting from a floating point number to an integer. So it has no 0.00 or 0.53, whatever. It's just a number, so it's 5 or 6 or a million. And that's all it does. It's an integer. We talked about that last time. Just wanted to get a little bit of a refresher there. So let's try this again. So yes, that warning is going to come up every time, and I'm just going to use this because I can. Okay, so we know what 0 does, we know what 1 does, but let's just make sure that they do what we think they do. 0, I had a nightmare where the world was ruled by humans. Does that correct? I hit 0, and it gave me that. Alright, let's run it again. Let's hit 1. I'm doing this on the number pad in case you were wondering. I dreamed of bunnies. Wonderful! My computer dreams of bunnies. Okay, let's try entering something stupid like 9. Oh god, humans, ick. Which sort of makes sense because basically it didn't evaluate to true or false, so it says, I hate humans. They don't understand ones and zeros. Okay. Now, we can reverse this by basically saying, if not equal to 1, which pretty much is going to exclude this, and not equal to 0. So if I input 0, I'm going to get this, and if I input 1, I'm going to get this. And this basically doesn't do anything. So you saw me before, you can rewind the video probably, and you'll see the 1 or the 0. So I'm going to hit 0 this time, which is supposed to be false, but we're going to make it true. I dreamed of bunnies, see? So the exclamation point that I added there, this is a new logic operator. You remember equal equal was a logic operator? Well, that basically says, if this is true, return true type thing. This says, if dreams is not equal. So instead of is dreams equal to 1, it says, is dreams not equal to 1? In which case, it would evaluate to true. And the same thing can be done if we get rid of this and sort of move it back to what we had before, and we move the sort of thing here. This way, if dreams is equal to 1, it will evaluate to false because I put that there. So if I put in 1, I'm going to do this real quick. I just hit 1 and we got that thing. So 1 and oh god, humans, ick. My computer hates humans. Remember that AI thing I told you about? Yeah, my computer's gonna hate me soon enough. I'm just kidding. Computers can't take over the world unless we tell them to. Please don't tell your computer to take over the world. I will find you and hunt you down. Actually, I'll just rewrite your code and make it like me better than you. Just kidding. I don't do that. I'm Russian. I just kill people. And occasionally write C++ code. Okay. So, we now know more or less the logic operators that are there. Now, I'm going to do something kind of cool-ish. Okay, well, not really. Okay, this is another logic operator. The OR operator. It's shift and the key that's above enter. I have no idea. It's a vertical line, really. That's all it is. So if dreams is equal to 1, or dreams equal 3. This way, if I enter 1, I still get the same bunnies, or if I enter 3, I get bunnies. Gonna run it again. We're gonna change this whole running once thing real quick here. I just want to finish this out real quick. Next thing is an impossibility. Obviously, I'm using the same variable, and this might give me an error or a warning if I change some stuff around, but basically, if dreams is equal to 1 and dreams is equal to 3, it's impossible. So I'm probably going to get, oh god, humans, ick, again. Oh god, I've wasted my life. Oh god, humans, ick. So, there's that. My computer, again, will hate me for the rest of my life. Anyway, I'm gonna, that's pretty much it. That's all the logic operators. And is and, or the double ampersand is and the double line is or. That's all the logic operators I'm gonna teach you for if statements, because that's all I ever use. At least as far as I know, I don't really do a whole lot of if statements. I do it in my physics engine, but it's not really a big part of it. Wow. I really wanted to get this video to go faster, so I'm going to get back to logic stuff, which is if-else stuff, in a minute here. But first, I want to show you something kind of cool. I'm going to teach you loops. This is a very important thing, and we're going to start with a while loop, which is while this statement is true, do this. So I'm going to do dreams is greater than, oh, that's what I forgot. The greater than or less than equals 0. So this is another logic operator that I forgot to mention. It's the greater than or less than. You can just change this and you get the equal sign. You can do it without the equal sign, but then if 0 is... I'm pretty sure you people are smart enough to figure this out. So, you people are smart, right? Okay, here's something that you guys may or may not know. In Visual Studio 2010, you're going to have to highlight this whole thing to do what I'm about to do. But what you're going to do is you're going to go to Edit, Advanced, and Format Document. If you're on 2010 or less, you can hit Format Selection, but you're going to have to highlight the whole thing first. But I'm going to hit Format Document, and that just tabifies this whole thing for me. So, while dreams is greater than or equal to 0, it's going to do this. So, if I hit compile, 0, and it's going to do this. It's going to do that forever because I told it to. Oops. I'm going to just take this and cut. Enter. Control V. And I'm going to format the document real quick just because I'm a bit of a neat freak. So now it'll do what I was going to try to do beforehand. So I'll explain in a second what just happened. 0, 1, 3. So I'm gonna, oh god, I can't, I was gonna say I was gonna try to zoom in here, but I can't. Darn. Make it full screen? Maybe? I don't know. You guys can try to zoom in or something. I guess I'll read this off. It says, will computer dream? 0 for no, 1 for yes. 0 is what I enter, and I had a nightmare. Same question. 1, I dream of bunnies. Same question. 3, oh god, humans, ick. And now it's asking me for input again. Now I'm going to explain what the hell is going on, or what happened before. If you remember before, I put this statement under here. This statement here is where I'm getting the input. If this statement is not inside the while loop, it doesn't get called. And therefore, you get stuck in an infinite loop, which is what you saw there. It just keeps repeating the same thing over and over and over and over and over again. I actually have a way of getting out of this, so I'm going to run it again so that you can see what I'm talking about. 0, 1, 3, and now I'm going to hit -1. And now I can get out. What happened there is -1 is less than 0, basically. So, you know, it's less than 0, so while this is true. If this is not true, which happens to be which it's not true if, you know, it's less than 0, which -1 is less than 0, it'll get out of the loop, basically. And then it'll just continue down here to the system pause, which I don't know why that's still there. Error list. System is ambiguous. That's interesting. Seemed to compile just fine. Whatever. Anyway, apparently errors don't always cause bad things to happen. I don't know. Okay, so, I'm going to explain the next couple loops real quick. And I'll get to switch statements, which is another logic operator, next time. That'll be the first thing I introduce, I guess. I'll have to remember that. Okay, so that's while loops. There's also a do while, which is not initiated like this. Instead, what you do is you take the while bit, you cut it, and you put it at the bottom. So, do this while this. At least, I think that's how the syntax goes. I'll be honest, I pretty much never use a do while loop. However, first let's see if this works. It doesn't. Okay, so what did I screw up on this time? Syntax error. System. Seriously? System pause. Oh, that's what. Okay. I forgot. You need one of these. Yeah. When you do a do while loop, you need a semicolon after that, otherwise things don't work right. Sorry. Like I said, I never use them. But now it'll work. So, do while 1, 0, 3, 3, 4. See, it doesn't like humans. I'm just mashing buttons. -1. Oh god, humans ick, yeah. Blah, blah, blah. Oh god, I'm almost out of time here. So, that's a do while loop. The difference between them is a while loop will only even enter the loop if the while condition is true. If it's not, it doesn't even enter the loop. A do while loop will always execute everything before checking the condition. So if you want something that will only happen if something's true, then you put it in a while loop. If you want something to execute first and then check the condition, do while. And I'm at half an hour. God damn. Okay, so for loops, switch statements, those will be covered in the next one. This is significantly cooler. Now you can sort of run your own programs. It's kind of nifty, right? I told you to be doing stuff that's much cooler than, crappy variable names. What you can do with this is pretty much all sorts of stuff. So I'm going to get the next one out as soon as possible. I have a physics engine to sort of overhaul in the next couple days. Also, my brother's coming down, so that'll be fun. Hope you guys enjoy. I'll be putting this up in like a few seconds here. So, that's that. This is Dracono99, signing off again. I hope you guys enjoy these tutorials. I will get to graphics when I get there. I'm sorry, but there's so much stuff that's in graphics. It's so far ahead of where we are now, but we will get there. I promise. Along with all the other stuff, which you're gonna need before we get to graphics. So, thanks for this one. Enjoy.